Let's play the first video, and I'm gonna run and get a marker.
It was like 3 minutes. Yeah, I don't,
Oh, we saw 3 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. We have some markers in the closet.
Do we?
Yeah, where did they go?
I don't know, they disappear, they get feet, walk off. Are we recording? We're recording, aren't we? Okay, I'm gonna watch what I say, because you never know what's gonna be like memorialized and spread across the internet. HR is always listening, I found out. Let's see if that works.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
How's the pup?
How's the what?
How's the pup?
The pup? He's doing good. He's back to his normal self. He just has a little belly scar now, so. That'll teach it. I was gonna say that'll teach him to eat random things in the garage, but it probably won't. I take him out to go to the bathroom. I'm like, get up! What are you doing in the corner? Get over there! Stop! Get up!
How old is he?
Oh my God, 3? I
Oh.
think 3. Yeah. So it's like what, like 35 in adult years, and it's a boy dog, so like we still, I eat random things too. So.
On Instagram, you've been on escrow and closing something.
So that again?
That's right. On Instagram, I saw that you guys are being in escrow and closing something.
Yep. We're closing a property in Palmdale. It should actually be closing today, but it's being held until Monday because the seller abbreviated somebody's name on the paperwork. And so they were like, nope, pull it back. And so now we have to wait.
How long is it taking the escrow nowadays?
This one was pretty quick. This one was about 30 days or so. Tracy is closing another one, I think, in about a week in our neighborhood. And then we just took a listing that we had, in the last 2 days, we had 27 showings on it for like $785,000 and so on. And it was an investor that we worked with in 2021 or 2022. He sold his house, used that money to buy 2 investment properties, and he's selling this one investment property with us, which he fixed up. But Tracy was just telling me, he called through the 27 showings that we had yesterday, that I guess somebody went into the bathrooms and like did bad things. That I can't say the words because there's too many women in this room. But it's like, it was like, how do I, I'm searching for words. But it's like, it wasn't graffiti and it was nasty. It's like, come on, people.
Wow. She doing showings alone, or usually you go with?
No, so it's by appointment only and the agents will show up on their own, but I don't usually let her go to showings by herself. She doesn't do open houses by herself. And, it's a little sad that the world is like that, but it is what it is. Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's do this.
Hi, this is Brian. Welcome to Philosopher's Notes TV. Today we're going to do an episode on the great book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. As always, great book, Philosopher's Notes. We've got 6 pages of PDF with 10 of my favorite big ideas or so. And this is a great book. So Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon in the 20th century, and he discovered in the process of doing countless surgeries that some of his patients, when they had a new appearance, their lives totally changed. Other patients still thought they were unattractive. They still thought that they couldn't get any benefit from the physical transformation in their appearance. And this struck Maxwell Maltz really deeply. And he spent the second half of his life looking at, rather than outer scars, what he called inner scars. And he really got into self-image psychology and the power of our subconscious mind to create a healthy and happy life. And psycho-cybernetics is essentially the combination of that self-image psychology with a science that was really popular during his time called cybernetics. So we'll go over some of the big ideas that form the core of psycho-cybernetics. But first, let's look at the idea of cybernetics. It comes from the Greek word for the steersman. It literally means the steersman. And cybernetics was, as I mentioned, a popular science all about things like guided missiles, right? That were servo mechanisms that had a target that could be programmed, and then they had a program that would allow them to have a target and then be launched and adjust their course to reach the target, right? That's cybernetics. So the idea is that we human beings are goal-oriented, much like a guided missile or a servo mechanism, and that we operate best when we have a clear goal and we're taking action toward that goal. So that's the basic idea of psycho-cybernetics. And here are some of the big ideas that I love from this book. The first one is this idea. Maxwell Maltz is passionate about the idea that we all have what he calls a success instinct. Our kind of deepest goal, if you will, is to succeed. It's to achieve great things in our life. And he talks about the fact that everything in nature has a success instinct. Squirrels don't need to be trained to gather nuts for winter, right? And birds don't need to go to school on navigation to know where to fly. And to navigate thousands of miles across open water, they didn't read stories about great navigators. They had a built-in intelligence within them that guides them naturally. And he says we all have that built-in mechanism, and he calls it a success instinct. The challenge is that we're conditioned in ways that kind of get in the way. We have a subconscious mind that's been primed with negative stuff. And our job is to basically re-hypnotize ourselves, reprogram ourselves in powerful ways. And he says that imagination is one of the first keys. We've got to be able to imagine ourselves in a greater life. Imagine ourselves in really positive, powerful ways. We're not going to go into detail on that. You can check out the note for more on that. For now, I want to get into the idea of hypnotizing ourselves. And he says that everyone's been hypnotized by society, by our parents, by our peers. We've all been hypnotized. And that hypnosis is literally running the show. We've got to ask the question, is that what we want running the show? Are those beliefs that we have ingrained into our subconscious mind what we really want to be running our lives? And his suggestion and my echo would be probably not. And we talk about this all the time. In the 4 Agreements, that's Don Miguel Ruiz's whole point. We've been domesticated. We've been hypnotized, and we need to create new agreements in his book. In this case, we need to dehypnotize ourselves. But quickly on hypnosis, Maxwell Maltz shares some really cool stories on hypnosis to bring home the idea of just how powerful our subconscious mind is. So did you know you can take an Olympic weightlifter, right? So an incredibly world-class, strong human being, and you can hypnotize them, right? Basically turn off their conscious mind and communicate with their subconscious mind and tell them that they aren't strong enough to pick up a pencil or a pen off of a table. You can hypnotize a world-class, strong human being and tell them, under hypnosis, they are not strong enough to pick up a pencil, and guess what? They aren't strong enough to pick up the pencil. They will struggle to pick up the pen. It's amazing. Now, their actual strength didn't change. They still had the physical potential, the physical ability to pick it up, but they were conditioned, they were hypnotized to think that they can't pick it up, and suddenly they can't pick it up. It's amazing stuff. And you can do the opposite. You can program someone positively and tell them that they're stronger, and you'll see significantly greater results in strength. It's an amazing thing. Applied kinesiology, you might have heard of that before. How we program ourselves moment to moment, whether we talk about things that we're afraid of that weakens us, or we talk about things that we love and that we're proud of, we're going to be stronger. So really powerful idea. We're hypnotizing ourselves moment to moment to moment to moment. So we want to pay attention to what we're telling ourselves and how we're hypnotizing ourselves. Really cool idea. I love that one. Isn't that amazing? So that's pretty good. He talks about the fact that whenever we do anything, we want to allow our natural behavior to come through. We don't want to be overthinking things. Our conscious mind is basically there to set goals, to set our intention, and then we want to let our subconscious mind get to work. We're going to talk about this in a great book called Overachievement, where a guy named John Elliott talks about how the greatest performers trust themselves. They just let it rip. They're not self-conscious when they're doing anything, whether it's selling merchandise or performing an art, whether it's music or basketball or whatever it is, a sport, they're just going off. There's a trusting mindset. So Maltz talks about how important that is, that we just let ourselves express ourselves most powerfully. So that's pretty cool. He talks about the importance of habits. And I didn't know this, but he says, what does he say? He says the word habit originally meant clothing or a garment, right? So the things that we do consistently, our habits, are almost exactly like the things that we wear. They are the things that we wear. Our habits are almost like our clothes, right? And our self-image is going to determine the habits that we have, right? Really cool idea. And my question in this note, in this context, which I come back to again and again and again and again and again, is how are your habits? Are you wearing old clothes? Do you have old habits that no longer serve you? If so, is now a good time to do some kind of cleansing of your closet. Get rid of some of the old clothes. Get rid of some of the old habits that don't serve you any longer. And my question in the note is, what's one habit that you need to start building that would have the greatest positive impact in your life? And what's one habit that you need to stop doing that if you stop doing it would have the greatest positive benefit? So new clothes that you're going to start wearing and something you're going to stop wearing. What habits can you build? Really cool idea. He talks about the importance of goals as well, and that we've got to be moving toward our goal. And he describes it as kind of like riding a bike. Now, you can ride a bike and balance easily when you're moving, right? So you have a certain place you want to go, even if it's just forward or around in circles, but you're moving. But if you're not moving, it's really hard to keep balance. Unless you're really good, you're going to have to put your foot down because you can't keep your balance. Same thing with our emotional well-being. We want to keep on moving toward a goal that keeps us dynamic, keeps us in flow, and keeps us more healthy. We talk about this in the positive psychology stuff we do as well. He talks about the fact that nobody is right 100% of the time. The greatest athletes in the world still miss way more than half of their shots in basketball. The greatest baseball players, you know, what are they? The greatest ones are batting 30% effectively. They have a batting average of 300, right? They're striking out or getting out 7 out of 10 times, yet they're the greatest in their sport. So no one succeeds 100% of the time. It's an amazing idea to remember. Babe Ruth had the most home runs in his era. He also had the most strikeouts. We've got to reorient our relationship to failure and have fun with it. That is the key to reprogramming ourselves, tapping into the power of psycho-cybernetics. That is all we have time for. Hope you enjoyed, and look forward to sharing more with you soon. See ya.
Okay. Has anybody read the new Psycho-Cybernetics? No, it's an older book, and I read it back in 2015. There was a lot to it. There's a lot, but it makes a lot of sense. And that, when I read that book, that's what made me understand that everybody needs a therapist. Because I keep saying it, like we all got screwed up at some point in our lives, and it was probably because of our parents. Sorry, guys. But it's just like, it goes back to like, right now, we want you as real estate agents to talk to as many people as you possibly can. And like what we're told as children is like, don't talk to strangers. Now I'm telling you, go talk to strangers. It's a really interesting dynamic. And like, we're told no so many times when we're kids, that when we get older, like we have to like not take no for an answer, but like, you know, I'm dropping my son off and I'm like, I'm picking you up at about 4:30, 5:30 after school. He's like, no, I want to go with my friends. I'm like, no, You're not, it's like, and so like when you get older, it becomes this really weird, different dynamic, but what he's talking about is people are goal oriented and having a clear goal and inner scars. Like the inner scars happen when you're younger and it's usually put on you by somebody else. I don't want to, daughter and mother relationship happening here. I can already see where this is going to go for me. But it's usually happened because of things that we're going through as a parent, and we basically imprint onto our kids. And then our kids grow up with all of these things that we have from when we were younger, and now we have to fight through them. That's typically the way that goes. But the success instinct, I'm not 100% on board with everything he said with that, because he's talking about how birds, just know where to fly and squirrels know where to get food and so on. I have seen some people that don't have this and they just don't improve and they just stay in their whatever they're at and they don't move forward and I don't feel like some people have a success instinct, but I think that goes back to inner scars and being held back and not believing that you can actually do something amazing. So when he talks about the imagine part and being hypnotized, that's basically believing that your past is what you are and you move forward with believing that you are your past. And the one thing I've learned through all the craziness that I've been through in my life is that you are not your past. You are not anything that you were before today, and you can choose today to be something different moving forward. Does that make sense? Did anybody get anything from this before I keep just pontificating on things? Did anybody get anything meaningful or think about that?
I really understand what you talk about is you shape your reality by what you say in words.
Yeah.
Really matter because your words imprint on the brain and then the brain does what you words say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I learned, so super personal, when I was going through a divorce, it was super crazy nasty. And I had so much toxicity coming at me on a daily basis, like court things, kid things, ex-wife things, all these things that were so negative that I had to figure out how to do something different to put positivity into myself, because it was just so bad that that was my world. My world was this toxic, negative cesspool of junk. And it's like the only way I could get myself out of it was, one, I had to put myself into action, because I think that depression and all of that stuff, if you put yourself in a positive situation, like in a positive group of people, or in a positive, working out was my go-to, working out, being in front of positive people, all that stuff, that helps you pull you out of depression, because depression wants to basically just pull you into a dark place and you sit there and you just go through your mind and all the negative things. So action is one thing that was really super positive, but I had to be around people that were saying nice things about me. I had to be around myself and realize that I had to start saying nice things about me. And that mindset of saying those words, making it come back to you. And so what I did, because I tried to get out of it in a very major way, is what I did is I started writing down things every day, positive things every day, goals every day. And then what I would do, I would listen to books every day, positive books every day that made me feel good. And then at night, what I did is I kicked it up a notch, is I put on headphones and I put on positive affirmations to help me go to sleep. And it didn't help me go to sleep at first, but over time, now I'm sleeping and I hear all these positive things happening. And so that, for years, I did that to get myself into a different space. And so I still do a lot of that at some level. I still do the book thing and I still do writing down thing. I don't listen to things at night anymore. It's, my dog snores, so that's headphones would probably help. But imprinting positive things on top of everything that's going around you, because you can't control the outside world. You can't control what's happening. You can't control other agents. You can't control family members. You can only control yourself. And so you have to take those things that are being said, and a lot of times take them with a grain of salt. My therapist tells me, it's just if you feel that people are disrespecting you, it's not that they're probably disrespecting you. It's probably that they're more concerned about themselves. And most people are more concerned about themselves than anything else. And we tend to look at things differently. So you really have to take everything on the outside and take it with a grain of salt, and only allow certain things into your life that are positive to help you out. The hypnotized part this is where like I see, like with my kids, I see how they're acting based on situations that have happened in their past. And then I see agents and I see people basically just reiterating things that have happened in their life and not moving forward into a different light. When he's talking about habits, iteration is the key to habits. It's like you have to start doing one thing consistently over and over and over and over again to make that happen. And then what I realized is the new agent versus top producer. What is the difference between a new agent and a top producer? What do you guys think? What would be the difference? Anybody?
Consistency.
Consistency. I know new agents that are consistent. Joseph's consistent, but he's not a top agent yet.
One day,
One day, absolutely, keep going.
my dream is to sell that multi-million-dollar home.
You can do it.
In Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Absolutely. So consistency is important, but that's not the difference maker. What's the difference maker? Anybody else? So Richard Shulman. So Richard Shulman's the #1 agent for Keller Williams in Los Angeles. He did 168 million. 168 million. That was like 256 transactions. Which I did the math, it's like a $700,000 like average price point. I'm like, where's all this deals coming from? But anyway, conversation between me and him. So that's Richard Shulman. What is the difference between Richard Shulman and an agent that hasn't sold any? Any other thoughts? Huh?
Experience.
Experience and contacts,
Knowledge.
knowledge. So how do you get
I
knowledge?
feel like knowledge
Yep,
equals to confidence.
yep.
Being ignorant equals to, fear.
So how do you get knowledge?
So by just coming to these, like keep educating yourself and getting out there and talking to people and just, getting your experience out there, showings,
So what would you do to get more experience than you have today?
practicing.
So
Like
this,
you said, before, to learn how to write a contract, right? I
yes.
used to write contracts like, just for practice,
So this, the iteration
practice knowledge.
is the difference. The amount of things that he's doing over and over and over and over again. So if you're trying to get experience, which is a deal, one deal is going to give you experience in that deal. And then some of that information is going to translate to the next deal, and some in the next deal will be new experiences because it's all going to be different. People are going to be different, terms are going to be different, but the action of doing deals is going to give you the difference. But how do you get deals? There's an iteration there as well. So getting deals is speaking to people, and then that comes out to contacts per day. He speaks to a lot of people every day, but he doesn't get a deal every day. It's 256, so that's not even one a day. That'd be impressive, right? There are people that do that, but it comes down to iteration, which is he's doing something that all of us can do. That's not magic. It's not special. There's nothing special about Richard Shulman. If you see this, Richard, I'm sorry, you're a great guy. Anyway, him and I are really good friends.
But he has a team of people, right?
But he didn't start with the team.
Yes.
So a team happens when you need leverage because what you're doing on a daily basis is more than what you can handle, or you want to do something different, so you leverage yourself with somebody else. So there's a lot of things you can do in life to leverage. But to get from a new agent to being a top producing agent, it's not being super smart. It's not being super skillful. It's literally talking to as many people as you possibly can. You can go to 0 to 100,000 in less than 12. So the rookie of the year for the entire LA area in 2023 did $183,000 in their first 12 months. Came from this office. And that guy is a phone monster. He will get on the phone and he will just crush it on the phone. Talks to a lot of people. I called him, I'm like, hey, we have an awards thing at the end of the month. You're invited, you're winning an award. I didn't tell him what he was getting, but he's probably, the hell award am I getting? And I'm like, can you make it? He's like, I have to go to Denver to meet with clients. I'm like, dude, you've been in the business a year and you're already flying to Denver to meet with clients. Like, come on. So, but this is because he picked up the phone and talked to more people than everybody else that did not the new agents, but everybody else that did not make $183,000. I can guarantee you he talked to more people. So it's the iteration, and that's the difference maker between being a new agent and a top producer is how many people are you speaking to a month? If you spoke to as many people as Richard Schulman did, what would your results be? What do you think? Could be more. Have you guys met Richard? Who has met Richard? I mean, he's not like a super personable guy. Like, he's a nice guy. He's very,
I saw him briefly. He was like this
yeah.
and then just kept walking and then immediately was just making calls in our background.
Oh,
It
really?
was amazing. Yeah, it was like 8 in the morning and he's already making calls.
But he doesn't have this sparkling, amazing, bubbly personality. Not at all. Like you would think a top producer that's crushing it is like, Frederick from $1 Million Listing is like, making all these things. So first of all, everybody know Frederick from $1 Million Listing? Okay. The show shows him, not just him, he has a partner and he has a whole big organization with a whole bunch of people. He's on TV to be on TV. Some of that stuff isn't real. But you'd think you need this sparkling, outgoing, crazy personality to do business like this. The dude's an introvert. If you watch his Facebook stuff, it's more like he has this very dry humor, but he's a super nice guy. And he makes more contacts than everybody else. So if you did that, Sydney did that, if Ella did that, there's a good chance you could probably do more than him if you made as many contacts as him, because you guys have better personalities. Sorry, Richard, it's silly. I just don't know who's gonna watch this. So it really comes down to doing this boring, really silly work every day that like nobody likes to do. Like I do not like, I was talking to Tracy yesterday and our coach was like, how are we gonna improve your business? How are we gonna grow your business? Because we're already doing a lot of things. We're already talking to a lot of people. We're already door knocking. We're already doing, when I say we, it's the royal we, it's really Tracy. And so our coach was kind of like not saying something the right way, and Tracy was getting frustrated and she didn't know what he meant. And so I said, well, let me try to explain it. And I said, what he's wanting us to do. And she goes, not us, me. I go, fair, fair. But it's basically like, what do you have to do to make your business grow? And so they were talking to us about different things we could do, like circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is probably one of the greatest ways to get your business to grow. And who does not know what circle prospecting is? So circle prospecting is basically you find a sale, like you find a sale from our office in a neighborhood. Then you draw a circle around like a square mile radius, and you get all the names and phone numbers for that area, and you just call everybody. And you literally just say, hey, this is Frank from Keller Williams. I was calling because we just sold a house over on, Barnhart Avenue, and we have a lot of other buyers in the neighborhood. You know anybody in the neighborhood that's thinking about buying or selling? Oh, no, blah, blah, blah. If you got the price for your house, would you be interested in selling? No, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Would you like to know about anything that happens in your neighborhood? When it comes up, I would love to send you some information. I'll never call you again. I'll just shoot you an email. And then you try to basically make a friend and put them in your database. That's one of probably I don't, honestly, I can't even tell you off the top of my head, besides Tracy, who just started doing it, anybody else that does that. And it's like you're playing real estate lottery, because everybody's gonna buy or sell or refer business. You're just calling around, hey, I think the statistic at one time is within 60 days of a sign going up, another sign goes up. So it's like you're playing the numbers game, but you're trying to meet new people. The law of the lid. So he was talking about limitations. Has anybody heard of the law of the lid? So there is a study that they did, is they put fleas inside of a glass jar. Now, fleas have like a vertical leap of like 7 feet or something like that. Like fleas can jump. I know this, scared the crap out of me. I have 2 dogs. I'm like, really? To the groomer you go. But they have this like this crazy vertical leap. But if you put them in a glass jar and then put a lid on top of it, the fleas will jump and hit their heads or their bodies on the top of the glass jar. They'll do it so many times to where they don't want to do that, because that's probably not a fun thing to do, is to hit your head on top of a glass jar. But what'll happen is that they'll jump just far enough to not hit their head. But then when you take the glass jar off, they won't be able to jump out. Not because they can't jump anymore, but because you train them through putting them in there on the lid and letting them hit their head enough that they're just not going to do that anymore because they don't know any better. I mean, that sounds like humans. Like we get into a rut and we stay where we're at and we find comfort, right? They found comfort in the lid, in the jumping part, and they're not hitting their head anymore to where they're just not going to do anything that's going to possibly hurt themselves. Humans do that all the time. It's called comfort, and people stay in the same job, they stay in the same office, they stay in the same relationship because they don't know what's out there. It's a mindset. It's all mindset. Where did I put mindset? Put mindset around here something. It's all mindset. So you have to decide, what do you want? What do you want differently in your life? Are you comfortable enough in your life to where you're good? Or are you going to be able to do something different moving forward to change your situation? What do you guys think? Who wants to change their situation? Well, everybody raised their hand. You didn't raise your hand. Are you good? You want to change or are you good? You change, okay. So how do we do that? Would one deal at say $30,000, would that be impactful? It'd be impactful for me. It'd totally be impactful for me. If I made an extra 30 grand tomorrow, like, so let's look at how that works. He said everybody has to have goals, right? I believe that everybody on the planet can do 18 deals a year. 100%, 100% possible. Does anybody have an annual goal in here that they want to do before the end of the year? Shout it out. Anybody? No? What do you want to do before the end of the year?
Well, I mean, at this point, I'd be happy with just a couple, but my goal would be like. Probably 5.
5 to 10 is a big range. Let's say 10. 10 deals, okay. Anybody else? How many deals do you want to do? 4 deals. How many deals do you want to do? 5. Who else? How many deals do you want to do? 5? How many deals do you want to do, Norman?
And he's still coming up.
You have 2 coming up.
Mhm.
What do you want to do before the end of the year total?
Put it 4.
4 deals. How many deals do you want to do? 5 deals. How many deals do you want to do, Joseph?
Honestly, I have so many in my pipeline.
Just give me a number by the end of the year that's reasonable.
Honestly, I can do maybe a 5.
5, okay. So based on our office, 5 deals is, because that's almost everybody said 5 deals except Ella. Impression. So based on our office average economics, that's about $125,000. Man, I wish prices were like this when I started. I wouldn't be here today. I'd be doing something fun on a private plane on a sandy island somewhere, having my assistant do stuff for me.
Also named Sandy.
Yeah, also, exactly. So let's look at how this works. Because I think, and this is my perception for doing this for so long, is that having these goals are great. Having an annual goal is great, but I think it also is esoteric and very hard to understand. Because the numbers are big, like 5 deals, 6 figures, like it's hard to kind of grasp around that. So when you look at business, there's only 4 places you can get business from. Just no place else. Warm leads. These are people you know. So this is like SOI. That's it. Warm leads, people you know, in some way, shape, or form. Sphere of influence is very large. And the problem is that we don't understand how large it actually is. And we don't think we can affect the outcome of it, which you can. Cold leads. This is like door knocking, cold call, expired, circle prospecting. That's that. That's all of that stuff. It's literally talking to people you don't know. Those are your 2 fastest ways to get business, hands down. So what is the number you're going to have to do to get your goal? Content. This is social media, blogging, just any type of content that you're pushing out into the world. This, the content and social media and blogging, is part of your sphere of influence too. It's just on one of the outer rings. And then this is paid. This is Google. This is social media. And anything, any type of advertisement that you can pay, billboards, bus benches, shopping carts, Google, social media, it's all paid. Most of us go here to get our first deal. I need leads. You already have leads, and you can go find more leads just between these 2 things if you do enough of it. I post on everything I do at least once to 5 times a day. I post on YouTube, Facebook. So I post on YouTube, I post on multiple Facebook pages, I post on X, I post on LinkedIn, and I post on Instagram on multiple pages. I leverage myself, though I have a VA that helps me. So I cannot do it all by myself. But you can do LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. You 100% can. One person can. It's called time blocking. You just have to figure it out. But all of this is also overwhelming because we all think that we have to figure all of this out. But what I want to do is I want to take all of this away. Your goals don't matter. Your goals don't matter. I need you to get 1. Stop focusing on the 10. Stop focusing on the 5. Stop focusing on these big, large goals. I need you to just go get 1. Your job is to tell the world about yourself, tell the world how amazing you are, and get that 1 deal, and then tell the world about that deal, and then sell that deal, and then tell the world about that deal. Those are so many different marketing opportunities, but the 10 or the 5 doesn't matter unless you get that 1. Everybody in this room has a bunch of deals waiting for you. You all do. Somebody has your money. Have you talked? It's kind of, what's that one joke that I heard? It's like a guy's trapped on a roof in a flood, in a storm, and he's like, God help me, I don't want to die. Please, God, help me, please help me. And a boat comes and it's like, hey, jump in the boat. It's like, no, 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 God's got me. Boat goes. God, please, come save me, blah, blah, blah. And the ship comes. Hey, come on, jump in. No, God's got me. Helicopter comes. Come on, jump in. No, God's got me. And then he dies. He goes up to heaven and God's like, what's your deal? He's like, I thought you had me. I was praying and I was hoping, and I thought you had me. He's like, yeah, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Like, what's your problem? Right? So it's I find that story really funny, but if we focus on this great idea of getting 10 deals and making $100,000 a year, that's fine, but we have to do the things that are going to get you that first deal. So how many people are you talking to? Like, how many people have you talked to from the day you started in this office till today? Can you count it on one hand? Because however many people you've spoken to, that should be like, if you haven't had a deal yet, and I know some people in this room have had deals and some people have deals, is that you should be tracking how many people you're talking to on a daily basis. It should be, honestly, if we were in one-on-one coaching, it would be a minimum of 25 real estate conversations a day. If you have not had a deal yet, 25 real estate conversations a day. And it's like literally talk to anybody, go make new friends, find out everybody in your friends and family. Stop assuming that everybody knows that you're a real estate agent and that they're going to bring you a deal. I cannot tell you how many times people are like, oh, no, no, no. I'm like, well, why didn't you talk to that person? Well, they already know. You don't know. You don't know. I have had a bunch of people that I'm like, they talk to me and they're like, oh yeah, I listed my house. Oh, I didn't know you were still in real estate. First 5 years of real estate, that happened to me. I was like, oh my God, you didn't know I was still in real estate? Because I didn't talk to him. So it's like, how many people are you talking to on a daily basis? Because most of the time, if you're not talking to anybody and you're posting stuff on social media and you're doing certain things and you're waiting for people to contact you, that lead generation is called prayer. That doesn't work really well. So the number one thing you have to do is focus on your first deal. So how do you talk about to people your first deal? How do you let them know that you have business? How do you let them know that you are experienced if you haven't done a lot of deals? So during the team meeting, at the end of the team meeting, somebody says, I have a $365,000 mobile home in Arleta. Sorry, Arleta, I don't know which mobile home.
Where's Arleta?
It's next to Panorama City, next to Mission Hills. It's in like this little, I sold a couple houses there, but I don't even know if they have one. They probably do. On Pearson Way. Sorry, I was just talking to you. Sorry. So I have 365 Pearson Way for $400,000, okay? That's what somebody says during a team meeting. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet. So what nobody does is calls everybody that they know. Hey, this is what it sounds like. Hey, it's Frank. You know I'm still in real estate, right? Okay. Well, I was just calling you because I have somebody in my office that has a $400,000 property. It's an amazing deal. It's in Arleta, and I'm looking to see if I find anybody that knows anybody that would be interested in it. Do you know anybody that would be interested in a $400,000 house in Arleta? First of all, if that was really the price, there'd be a line out the door and around the corner. But if you call people to tell them, hey, my office just got a listing for $400,000 in Arleta, and I'm calling to see if I know anybody that would be interested in it. Do you know anybody? You're not asking them if they're interested, you're asking them if they know someone. Chances are they don't. 100%. You probably call for like 2 days. Everybody's no. But what that does is that solidifies you as a professional, that you're busy, that you have deals, that you're doing the business. So when somebody says to them in 2 or 3 days, hey, I'm thinking about buying or selling, they think of you. And it gives you an excuse to call your database. Because that's the biggest problem agents have is I don't know what to say to my people. Well, you let them know you're busy. You let them know you have a sale. The number one thing we do, we get a listing, the first thing we do is we blast it out to our database. We call all of our people that are close, but we don't call everybody one by one because our database is large enough to where it just doesn't make sense. But if like we have a $785,000 house in Silmar for sale, 27 showings. To me, that says that if everybody in this office called their database and said, hey, my office just got a house in Silmar for $765,000, completely remodeled. Do you know anybody that would be interested in that? I'm trying to help sell it. That's the script. You would probably find somebody that says that's a really good deal, because with 27 showings in one day, that is a really good deal. But that's the things you have to do, these activities. You have to do the activities. You can't just wait for the business to come to you. This is a contact sport, and you have to make the contacts. And anybody that comes to me and says, I haven't done any business or I haven't hit my goals, the first thing I say to you in coaching is like, let me see your calendar. Let me see your calendar. So I want to see what you're doing every day. And normally my calendar, like if you look at my calendar, Sandy sees my calendar, usually there's like a block of time in the middle of the day of all the different things going on. And I don't even have everything going on in there because I have classes in other offices and classes here that I don't usually have in there. But usually there's a block of stuff that I'm doing. And like before 10 a.m., there's nothing. And after 3 or 4 o'clock, there's usually nothing. So, but it's like, I can tell you how successful you are by your calendar. And I actually help other I help other team leaders out because I asked them the same question. I had a team leader in this region who was like, I'm just not getting the leads to recruit agents. And I'm like, well, what's your calendar look like and where are your leads coming from? And that was like a flat line. Ding. I didn't hear anything after that. Like they're not doing anything. They're waiting for business to come to them. I'm like, oh, you're an agent. That's what agents do. Agents wait for the phone to ring. You know, make sure your ringer's turned on, first of all. But you have to do the activities and you have to make phone calls. It sucks to pick up the phone. I'll be the first one to admit that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like sometimes talking to the people that I like. Anybody have that feeling? Like sometimes don't want to talk to people. You get a glass of wine and then I'll make phone calls. A glass of wine usually helps. You're not young. Are you old enough to drink? No, so not you. So you don't count. But like lead generation with wine. I mean, I think that's a great idea. Like happy hour lead generation. Ooh, I think I just came up with something. That's a great idea. Happy hour lead generation. I'll get everybody on the phone.
That should be an office event.
That should totally be an office
Maybe
event.
it's a sleepover event. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll all hang out here.
Little sleeping bag in the corner. But that's what I'd like you guys to do, because right now it is the beginning of April. Within the next 2 months, this is the busiest time in the entire year in real estate. First 2 weeks of May, it used to be the first 2 weeks of May, but I think it's moving a little bit. I think it's in April now. It's mid to late April, which is right now. Like if you're gonna talk to people, if people are gonna make a move, it's now. Like right now. So my thing to you is, how many people are you gonna talk to today? Is everybody comfortable with giving me a number before we leave the room? Joseph, how many people are you gonna actually talk to today about real estate?
Well, I'll be honest, I park my car, I walk every day.
Okay,
I talk to all the bus drivers, I talk to the construction people, I have to call tomorrow at 9 a.m. some construction person down the street.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't have a fear of talking to people. That's actually my thing. I love talking to strangers.
Okay,
So
so if you had to give me a number today, how many?
number, well, I'll call with expired,
Speaking out before you give me a number? Yeah.
probably about,
Exactly right.
I'll try to cold call FSPOs, expired,
Give me a number.
30.
30. It's a good number. All right. I'll write that number down. 30, okay. How many people are you gonna talk to today about real estate?
I actually, the past week, 2 weeks, it's been like 5 to 10 people that
Okay.
actually are looking to sell
Okay,
or to buy or to, they're moving.
okay,
So I've been shocked with that, like everyone that I wasn't trying,
yeah,
but I guess having also a listing helps me open up to,
absolutely.
because they ask me, how are you listing? Because I put it on Facebook and It's
So you can put other people's listings on Facebook too, from the office.
But you need permission. Right?
Go to our Facebook page, if you liked our Facebook page, and then take the ones that we put on Facebook and share it to yours. And said, we just got another listing. If you're interested in taking a look at it, let me know. You don't have to be the seller, you can be the buyer agent.
Yes.
So how many people are you gonna talk to today?
Some 5 to 10.
5 to 10. Can we pick one? 5 or 10?
Uh,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It
Which one?
depends on the day. Sometimes it's like,
So
because
this,
I go to the school where my kids go to, so.
so hold on, let me coach you a little bit. Though you're building in your excuses before you've done it.
So I say 10.
10.
It becomes
I like it.
yes.
10. Norma, how many are you gonna talk?
I already talked to 2 people this morning
Okay.
and planning to do another 5, 7.
So you want 7 total?
Yeah,
Is everything okay? 7? Okay. 7. How many people are you gonna talk to today? 10. Okay. Try or do? Don't make me break my Yoda out on you. There is no try. Okay, 10. Okay, Ella, how many do you? Don't look at Sydney. Sydney's not gonna give you the answer. Give you your answer.
Oh, where are we going to? I don't know.
Pick a number.
10?
10, 5 or 10? Pick one.
10.
10, okay. Does she count? I don't know if you count. You count?
Yeah, she can.
So how many people are you gonna talk to today? 5. You're the youngest one in the group, so I'll give you a pass on 5. But Sydney, how many people are you gonna talk to today? 3? 3? You can speak to 3 people before you leave the building.
About rules
Yeah,
in my own
Mhm.
spirit.
okay. Why 3? Why such a low number?
It's realistic.
Why is it realistic?
It's where I'm at with who I can talk to about.
Okay, so how come you can't speak to 10 people?
But I'm gearing up, so like I'm getting this idea to circle prospect in this area, and I feel once I have my more of that together, then I'll be able to shoot out lots of emails.
Do you think you might be limiting yourself on what you're capable of?
Yeah, I'm just being aware of my bandwidth.
Your bandwidth? Okay. Can I do something with you really quick? Can I see your phone?
Sure.
Can you open up your phone and open up your contacts form? Let me see your phone. Just your contacts. I'm not gonna look through your text message. I lied. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Sorry. Why does nobody put up their screen? Who's Dennis Dorch? So you got a number in there. Did you call Dennis? Figure out like how you know him? Could that be one today?
Maybe it might be another.
No, it says there's somebody in here with a KWBH on here, so I didn't pick that person.
Okay.
Who's Deputy Reyes? How do you know him?
Shows.
When's the last time you talked to him?
2 months.
Does he know you're a real estate agent? Did you call him today? Okay. So that's one. Tell me when you're done having this exercise, like, who is Donald Rollins? Has a microphone next to his name.
Community.
Comedian.
Yeah.
Successful or not successful?
Success.
When's the last time you talked to him?
A month or so ago.
Does he know you do real estate?
No,
Could you call and tell him you do real estate?
probably not.
Why? Why?
Because
Okay. How about, let's go to another. Who is Holly Gagner?
Not somebody I could call. Her daughter's also.
Okay. Is your daughter successful? Okay. Hugh Gerke?
My partner at it was a commercial.
Okay. Farah Gardash? You only have an email from him. Okay, never mind. Ron Goldman? Rob Goldman. Who's that? Another agent. I would call and check to see if he's an agent. Grace Prochhold?
I'm sure I could find a lot of people.
How many contacts do you have? Do you know? Guess.
100,
Nope. Try again.
300.
Going the wrong direction.
5,000.
850 contacts. So I would challenge you to try to talk to at least 10 people a day. After you finish doing all your day stuff and all the stuff you have during the day, you get home, you relax a little bit. Just call and check in on people to see, because I would bet you have a whole bunch of people in there you just probably haven't spoken to in a really long time. And I get there's boundaries up on some people that you can talk to, you don't want to talk to, or so on and so forth. But being able to talk to somebody and because of a situation and not wanting to talk to somebody is two different things. So you have to start putting, and this is for everybody, this is not just for Sydney, I'm talking to everybody here, is that you have to figure out what are you willing to do. And have to understand the volume of what you're willing to do is what's going to get you to this next, I took the one away, that one deal, that next deal, that first deal. So your willingness to do whatever it takes is really what's going to get you there. And so you have 850 people in there. What I would suggest is one by one, say, I'm going to talk to 10 people when I get home today. At the end of the day, I'm going to have a glass of wine or whatever. I'm going to relax. I'm just going to call people and check on them. What are you doing? How's work? How's the job? How's the kids? And then they'll be like, what are you doing? Say, well, I do this and I do this and I do this. And you just have a conversation with people to make sure that they know that you are in real estate, because a couple of people on there, you were like, they don't know any real estate. So it's like the guy with the microphone. It's like, you don't have to call them and say, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? Do not do that. Don't do that. You just call and make sure that they know that you're in real estate as well as anything else you might do. And so the volume of which you're willing to do that, that's when your success is going to happen. And you have a conduit to a lot of people in the entertainment industry, and there's a lot of opportunity there. Is that something, the entertainment thing that you do, is that something you want to do like on a large scale full time in your life? Or would you rather sell a whole bunch of houses?
Oh, I'd rather sell homes.
So you'd rather, okay. So you can use that as leverage to get yourself there, because that's connections. Right? And so some of these comedians and some of these people, like, they have connections to other people. It's not, you don't want to focus on that dude buying a house. You make sure he knows. So if he knows somebody, he can refer him back to you, especially if he likes you. If he's like, oh yeah, I know Sydney's cool. Oh, I have somebody that, is thinking about buying. I should hook you guys up. Do it separately. Could that work? So if there's fear built around talking to people or hesitation, like, you have to ferret out what that is. You can always call me and we can talk about it. But I'm not always going to be nice. I'm going to be honest, because I want you to be massively successful and sell. Like, you can get to the 168 million in sales. You can totally do that. I think females in real estate are way better than men. That's just my opinion. I think that a strong, knowledgeable female that can execute and make phone calls and talk to people can crush any guy out there, in my opinion. And I think that because I think women come off being nicer people. I've met I've met so many guys in the industry that I just are not good people, that I just don't like. And I haven't seen that on the female side. So I think you have a tremendous amount of potential. So does any of that helpful, or are you like, I gotta get out of this room right now?
No, it's really helpful. Just to like a reminder, it's not necessarily going directly to them, but who they may know, they're influence as long as we're top of mind.
I just need everybody that you know to know that you're in real estate. When they buy or sell, that'll come. They just have to know that you're real estate, because some of these people are having real estate conversations and you're not even involved because you're not on the radar. You have to put yourself on the radar. So based on this conversation that you probably hate me for now, is your number still 3?
Oh.
It's 5. Well, I mean, we moved up 2. That's positive. 5. Okay.
Today.
That's positive. That was a win for both of us. How many real estate conversations are you gonna have today? 6. He upped you 1. Do you want to match his 6?
7.
You'll do 7. Okay. She matched your 6 and did 7. Are you gonna do 7 or are you gonna do 8?
7 is.
7. See, you win. 7 and 7. Okay. Was this helpful? Do you guys have questions, thoughts, concerns? No?
That's so helpful.
Was it?
Yeah.
I never know sometimes what's helpful and what's not helpful.
Yeah. I like what you said to her, it really makes sense about, like, you don't have to go, that's what gets me stuck too, you don't have to go to the person who's like, hey, I'm a realtor, do you want to buy or sell?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm also in real estate, if you know anybody, do you know anybody who, I like, or you want to share in the office systems, that's,
Absolutely.
that's something to minister, just to let them know.
Because people don't know it's not yours. People don't know that you're not doing something. If they see that you're sharing or talking about other properties, they'll just assume you're crushing it. Oh, wow. When you go, we have a listing, we meaning the office, we have a listing out in, or they don't know that it's not you and your team and your people or whatever. They don't know. They know that you're talking about it, and that must mean you know what you're talking about. So we assume way too much sometimes on what people think or what people know, and we have to get out of that and realize that your number one thing, like the number one thing when I coach agents, everybody you know needs to know you're a real estate agent, period. Like when you join, I'm like, call everybody you know and tell them you joined us. Don't ask them if they want to sell a house. Don't. That'll come. Tell them that you joined this office. It's an amazing office. You're part of the number one company in the entire world, blah, 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 whatever. Because that is a win and success for you, and you want them to celebrate that. And when they do that, then you make sure you talk to everybody else and just ask them how they're doing, ask them where they at in life. And the last thing, if at all, you talk about real estate. Nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be and we don't want to sell people. It's super uncomfortable. You're like, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? How's your house going? You know, are you making your payment? Are you behind in your payment? Like, what's going on with that? You good? I mean, your car payment seems really high. Like, you know, are you thinking about buying? Nobody wants that conversation. I don't know if anybody would do that conversation. Joseph would do that. You would talk to you'd be like, hey, how's your house payment going?
Yeah, you know what's funny? After work yesterday, I went to a real estate meeting to meet with like lenders and all that in Long Beach. And he taught me a lot about the lenders, taught me a lot about FHA and conventional.
Yeah, that's all gonna change, by the way.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I was just giving you a hard time.
Oh.
All right, let's play the last video, get out of here. So I think I have some things going on here.
I don't care how good you are, I don't care how talented you are. There are some times when things aren't going to go right, and you have to deal with it. You can experience enough pain in life that it can clobber you to the ground, and you believe you can't do it. You believe that this is it for you. No, it's not.
Don't you quit. Don't you quit. You do make a difference. You do make a difference. As weak as you are, as tired as you are, as many mistakes as you made, you do make a difference. There is something they would lose if you were not there. There was something that they would miss if you were not there. You do make a difference.
You don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to hate somebody, to want revenge, to want to get back at somebody, to beat yourself up over the head, to feel loaded with guilt. You don't have to make any effort to do that. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it.
You need to make it a habit to start every fucking day validating yourself. because life is a marathon. And this might be a challenging leg where you're like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to do that thing. Hell no.
You've got to focus on you. And as you convince you, as you sell yourself every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Telling yourself every day, here I go again, and I got what it takes. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me.
My back is up against this motherfucker every day, and I gotta go that way. And I don't give a who is in front of me. They're not gonna stop me.
I want what all other men want. But when the opposition hits, when the challenge hits, when the pain creeps in, when the uncertainty creeps in, when the cuts, when the scars, when the bruises come, I just want it a little bit more than they wanted. If you dare to be great, if you dare to do something that you've never done before, if you dare to go to limits that you've never went to before, they will remember your legacy forever.
If you are still alive, there's still room for improvement. There's still room for growth. There's still room to grow and be better.
It's not going to be easy when you want to change. It's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out.
We turn tragedy into triumph. That's what lions do. Lions don't cry. Lions don't give up. Lions don't quit. Lions hunt. That's what we do for a living. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time. You go by the gazelle. You hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one.
It takes guts. You got to dig down deep to gut it out. Keep on going again and again and again. You've got to be willing to face rejection and no again and again and again. Defeat again and again and again. And every time life knocks you down, you jump up and say, it's not over until I win.
All right, guys, thank you for coming. Thank you. But I'll have to do